Recording in progress.
Okay. All right, good morning to everyone in Standing Strong. So this is another live session. Today we're going to look at what I call sticking points. So they're the things that we notice people get stuck on, various joint things. So often it's shoulder mobility, as in like the shoulders don't get up as high and you end up getting tendon overload and problems there. Often it's the knees sort of caving in when we're bending down and they end up hurting your knees. And then the other one is sort of the arch of your foot. So I'll just go on barefoot today just so you can see what I'm doing there. So we'll do a normal workout. We'll still get the workout in, but we'll just draw our attention to those sticking points as to how to improve shoulder mobility, how to improve knee control, how to improve arch control. They seem to be they're not all the things that we need to focus on, but they're three big things that we see again and again, especially in the over 65 population, that when we can get better control over these, you end up doing better, often less pain, often better performance, and the rest of it. Today you'll just need a TheraBand, and we don't need it right now, but just have that for later, and obviously your water bottle and towel. So let's let us begin. So I might actually just turn that light off. Sorry about this. Otherwise we get the glare. Okay, that's a bit better. All right, so let's begin. Let's just do some kind of running on the spot. Just get your arms into it. I'm going to go forward and backwards, forwards and backwards, forwards, backwards. And then we're going to go forwards and sideways now. I'll just get on screen a bit better. So just side to side, just easy movements. Nothing too strenuous, but just getting your body moving. That's it. Now we're going to do a square. So forward, sideways, backwards, sideways, forwards, sideways, backwards. I don't have a lot of backwards room here today. You just do what you can based on your own setup. And other way around, and forward, and sideways, and backwards. Good, so just sort of squat down that little bit, and let's just get those arms moving. Keep a bend in your elbow the whole time. Just notice your breath rate just increasing a little bit. Just trying to warm up. Only go as high as you're comfortable with the shoulders and stuff. I know a lot of people have shoulder issues of various kinds in the class. It is pretty common. All right, get your imaginary axe, and we're just going to do some swing throughs. Just trying to rotate our body. Rotate your feet and hips as well. Yeah, so if you're just joining us, notice a few people just joined us again. Welcome to you. We're doing a workout today called sticking points. So the idea is that we're focusing on the things, and we'll go the other way, we're focusing on the things that tend to trip people up. Usually based on the injuries and the conditions we see a lot of shoulder issues, knee issues, foot issues. So we're looking at some of the basic remedies for for those things. So it might be keeping a foot arch, it might be doing the hip hinge and keeping your knees out. It might be just improving your shoulder mobility slowly. So we'll still do the same workout, but we're just going to draw our attention to those points where the difficult things, you know. And open up here. So everyone has their own little spots where they've either had an injury or where they've had a weakness, where they've had pain, and we need to figure out whether we need to adapt to it, change it up a bit, or whether it can be rehabilitated. So rehabilitation, as in, you know, restored so you can do everything again, is the goal. That's the idea. But not everything can be, of course. So if that's the case, we just figure out, well, how do we go and work around those things so you still feel like you can join in. So we're going to see if we can try and learn the difference as we go along in standing strong, because that's the hard thing. All right, so kind of step ins and overs. And we're almost halfway through the first block already, would you believe? In our live classes, so in our face-to-face one, sorry. I don't know where the time's going, but racing away. All right, into our hip roll. Other way around. Good. Okay, so let's just do some super glue walking on the spot. So we're just trying to get those toes going. So we might start with the shoulders today and then work our way down to our knees and then ankles. We'll go top to bottom, eh? Doesn't really matter where you start, just having some sort of methodical approach is often helpful. So let's look at shoulders first. So grab your TheraBands or your resistance bands. You can, yeah, whatever band you want. So often the shoulders, for all of us, just posturally, they will come forward, they'll round forward and tip forward and in this kind of position. And a lot of the tendons then just get, it's just hard for them to pull in a right way. And so over the time they can get, you know, a little bit worn out, and sometimes you can get a tear, and then you get things like bursitis and over time arthritis if it's not tended to. So what we want to do first of all is this little exercise to, you've probably seen it before, I call it the Fettuccine Exercise, because you hold the band like, you know, an Italian pasta maker. And we pull our shoulders back and down. So pulling our shoulders back and down rather than forward and up, that's the idea. So start like that. Your elbows are going to be in at your sides and slightly forward, and you're going to, and your hands are going to be face up, thumbs out. Elbows are going to be bent about 90 degrees like so. And then what we're going to do is going to pull the band apart like so. It's not a big movement. It's only like maybe a hand width. So that's the movement. Now, a lot of problems with this movement is people do that, right? It's not that. We want to just keep our elbows in and bring our hands out. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 sets of this. We're going to do 3 sets of 12, but we're going to hold it out there for about, you know, 2 to 4 seconds. Ready? So it's going to be hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, and in. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, and in. So this is a good little warm up if you have rotator cuff problems. Just gets them ready for work, and the arms and hands are in a nice safe position, shoulders back, and you'll probably start feeling, perhaps even already, a kind of like a vague burn in the back of your shoulder. It feels quite deep. If you can feel that, that's some of those rotator cuff muscles. So you're supposed to be feeling that, like so. Just a few more. There you go. All right, so we're going to rest in between sets. We're going to do 3 sets. In between sets, what we're going to do is just trying to work on our shoulder mobility. So grasp your hands together here, and I want you to push out and in. So we're trying to get our shoulders to about 90 degrees here. Keep your chest down as you reach out. So don't kind of lift up, keep it down. And I just want you to get a little bit of movement into your shoulder. So just a simple movement, a shoulder mobility exercise. If you can't get up this high, you can go a little bit lower. But we're going to work progressively higher until we get a point that you're quite comfortable with. Yeah, so I've had a few people ask about shoulder stuff, and we're treating a few people at the moment with shoulder issues. So this is some basic things that you can start doing and just seeing how they go with you. All right, so grab your band again. Second set of the fettuccines. Most exercises have a proper name, but I tend to just name them something different. I figure fettuccine is just a bit more interesting than bilateral shoulder external rotation in glenohumeral joint neutral. That's a bit more boring, right? But we'll just call it fettuccine. All right, so let's hold it here for 2 to 4 seconds. And I even do this one sometimes too, even when I'm getting a bit, if I've sat down for too long. Just a simple exercise, doesn't feel like you're doing a whole lot. All right, I'll put them down. You can give your hands a bit of a shake. It's always good to do like a loosener. And then we're going to do this again, but this time we're going to go a little bit higher. So keep your chest down and see if you can go that little bit higher. So it's almost like 45 degrees up. And only go as high as you feel comfortable. But again, see, I'm not lifting up to get there. I'm doing it with my shoulders. And that's the big thing. So you might need to like tighten up your abdominals a little bit. Okay. Good. All right. Last set. So elbows in at the side, slightly forward. Elbows bent to about 90 degrees. So you don't want to be doing it up here or down there, just right in the middle and hold out. So I hope you can feel this. It's subtle. You often don't need to do it with a heavy band. Like it's better to do it with a lighter band because they're small muscles. So if you're doing it with like a black or a silver or even a blue band, if you're doing it with good technique, that's totally fine, of course. But you might find that, wow, I'm not as strong in this one as I am in other ones. And the reason is they're smaller muscles, they fatigue more easily. So even me doing it with the lightest band here, I'm still feeling it there, you know, especially if you hold for 4 seconds. So this is one that you can do like that. Not a traditional strength. It is strengthening, but it's not a big muscle group like where we're trying to, you know, lift or push big loads. Just trying to shore up the scaffolding, so to speak. Okay, I think that's close to 12. Okay, and then we're going to do the last one. And again, it only depends on how much mobility you've got. I'm going to go right overhead, but keep my chest down, right? But you just go to the limit of your mobility. So as you can see, each set we've been going from here to here and then all the way up. But notice I'm not arching my back. That's a back movement, whereas we want the shoulder movement, okay? Just up here. And because you're holding your hands together, you're kind of helping, you know, you might be helping your weaker side with your stronger side. So it's actually a good way of doing it. Good. And then just sort of rotate out. So there's some shoulder stuff. So hopefully you should feel like you're a little bit taller, you know, you're a bit wider. That's kind of what we want to do with our shoulders. Okay, excellent. Now we're going to work down to our hips. So we are going to do a hip hinge, and then we're going to do a squat. So the hip hinge is where we bend from here, and it's like a waiter's bow. So this is the movement where you're keeping from your waist to your head like a rod. It's all stiff and your chest is up, but you're bending from here. So if I was doing it from the side, my hips are coming back. And someone described it to me once, and I really like the explanation. A lot of the trainers that I've worked with and stuff like the explanation of, it's like you're shutting a car door with your backside if you've got your hands full. So it's the same type of movement. So we're just going to work on that. Excellent. Good. And then we're going to get our band, and we're going to step on it. Just be careful when you do this. Nice and wide, and have a bit of tension on it. And we're going to do a squat, like so. So see, we're putting that hip hinge into it. I don't know if you can hear that clicking. It's actually my knees. So at age 40, I get it too. That's it. So notice again, we're still doing that hip hinge movement where it's there. The only difference is I'm hip hinging and bending my knees at the same time. Good. All right, so put that down. Again, let's go back to the hip hinge just to really, really work on this. Tighten up your tummy. I'm going to come forward. Keep your chest up, shoulders back and down and wide. Good. So as you notice, like the little format we're using is we're doing a corrective exercise or getting a technique exercise, then we're going to put it into the big one. So that's the idea. We're trying to just train our bodies to remember when we do a bigger exercise, how to use the technique, okay? So I hope that makes sense. We're just going back and forth, and we'll just work our way down. The chest up. So we don't want this, right? We want this. It's subtle, but it makes all the difference. Good. All right, so pop this down again. So do between 8 and 15 repetitions of this one. Feet nice and wide again. We're going to go into our hip hinge. So we're doing a lot of this lately. Obviously, I'm hammering away at it. This block, this term of 10 weeks, we're just really trying to learn the hip hinge really, really well, because it does make such a difference when you really try and get stronger and the rest of it. Okay, last one. Just be careful when you're getting the band. And this is kind of a way to do a deadlift with a band, you know. You can do this movement with a weight, of course. Good, excellent. Have a drink, have a rest, and I'll just talk to you about the next movement. So the next movement is kind of at the knees. So with the knees, you probably noticed this when we've talked about it in class. When people stand up and sit down from a chair, often what happens is their knees come right in. And so we're trying to stop that from happening. We want to be able to keep the knees out rather than come in. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a strengthening exercise for these muscles here at the side of your hips, which actually keep the knees out. So believe it or not, it's these hip muscles that keep your knee out. So we're going to go into this position again. But this time we're going to cross the band over. So we've done this in class. And you can do this with a heavy band if you're used to it. And we're going to do some monster walks and sideways walks. So the monster walks is like this. Keeping our knees straight and our feet apart and forwards. Good. So 3 forward, 3 back, and then 3 to the side. And you should start feeling it in the side of the hips. It should, for a lot of people, this really kind of burns. You'll be glad to finish it once you're done. Good. Okay, so pop that down. And now we're going to do sit to stands. So with your sit to stand, we're focusing on that hinge, but particularly focus on keeping your knees hip width apart. Don't let them fall in at all. All right. So I'm doing it. I'd encourage you to do it from a higher chair. See, I'm quite low, so it's harder from a lower chair. But let's just do 8 of these. 1, 2, 3. Keep your chest up. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Good. Grab your band again. This will be the hardest set, okay? Because we're doing strength back to back. Set 2. Cross the band over. And monster walks. Oh, I didn't get a quadrille off it then. Then monster walks out. These are really fantastic exercises. Like, they can do wonders for people because they are often quite weak in this muscle or this group of muscles. And then we're going to go sideways. Yeah, and you can see you don't need a lot of room to exercise in, right? With a lot of this stuff, you just need, almost a square meter. That's about it. So even if you've only got a small space, you can still get some stuff done. All right. And then we'll go into sit to stand again. By the third set, you really don't want to be doing it. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Have a quick rest, and we're going to go through our last set. Okay, last set. We've done our shoulders, we've done our hips, and we're doing our knees. All right. And then we're going to do our feet. It's kind of like that head, shoulders, knees, and toes. So it's kind of like what we're doing today. Okay, and then out to the side. All right, excellent. You can put that away. We're going to do one more set of the stands. Last one, make it a good one. So again, concentrating on not letting one knee even slightly go inwards, all right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. So you should start feeling like it, like you've worked. Excellent. All right, last one. We're going to work on our feet. So our feet, look, everyone's foot type's different, but we all, we want you to focus on this arch here. So you should have like an arch that's like the harbour bridge. And what I want you to do as best you can is, I'm worn out after that, is maintain your arch, okay? So we're going to stand on one leg, but we're going to try and maintain your arch. So what I want you to do, we're going to do our right leg first, is pull your toes up and just notice the arch. So your heel should be on the ground, the big toe side should be on the ground, the little toe side should be on the ground. We call that a tripod. But in the middle is that nice arch. So what I want you to do, keep your legs straight, is lift up, right, into the single leg stand, but try and maintain your arch with your toes up. The balls of the foot's on the ground, but your toes are up. And for a lot of people, you really have to work a lot harder. So if you need to, you can just rest your toes on the ground just for stability, or you can put your hands on something for stability. But if you can do it whilst holding on and maintaining your arch, rather than kind of flattening it out, can you see the difference between that? And you can see your whole leg turns in when you do that versus that, and your knee stays forward. You'll feel all these muscles around here and even your foot start to work a little bit harder. So we're just going to try and do about 30 seconds on and off of this. And then we're going to do elevators in between. All right, so 30 seconds of that side. Again, swap sides, make an arch. Make an arch. It's hard, isn't it? Like, to do it properly. Try and keep this hip up. Don't let it sort of flop down. Good. So that's the arch. Now we're going to do elevators. So this is the one where we do the big lunge, right? And we come down and up. But what I want you to do is keep on the front foot, keep that arch there, and keep the knee over the middle of your foot. So don't let it come in, and don't let your foot flatten, okay? So elevators down. 2. You don't have to go all the way to the ground for this one, just because you're learning. But you'll find it really hard to maintain your arch at first if you haven't done this before. That's it. So 8 on that side, 8 on this side. So big toes, so all the toes up. Maintain that arch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. Good. So that's set 1. We're almost done. Set 2. So make an arch and just come up onto your single leg stand. I can see some people taking their jackets off. It's getting serious now. It's a hot day, isn't it? It's been a hot little time. All right, other side. And you go out to mow the grass and you find it's grown about waist high because it's all the rain. All right. Excellent. Okay, go back into this one again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Other side. We're almost done, folks. You're doing good. I'm not doing good. I'm all over the place. 1, 2, 3. Keep that arch, keep that knee control. 4. Good. Excellent. Legs should be starting to be fairly tired by now. Okay, arch again. Single leg stand. Again, you can rest your toes for balance, or you can come right up. Keep this hip up. Other side. And keep the hip up of the side that's in the air. Sometimes just looking down to check that arch is good. So when you're practicing your balance, like these ones that we do, just try and, like, your toes don't have to be in the air, but you do have to have an arch. So that's something that you can add to your routine now. All right, last set. 1, 2, 3. 6. Other side. So it's only the front foot that needs to have the arch in it, because the back foot's just on the ball of the foot there. Very good. Very good. Keep going. Just have a rest. Good. So there we have it. We've got from top to toe, focusing our shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles. And for the last little bit of our workout, we're going to try and just do a bit of a bit of cardio / strength work, just to try and put it together. So what I want you to imagine as we're doing these things, in the couple of movements we're doing, to get your shoulders up, hinge at the hips, control your knees, and control your arch. Now, you won't be able to do all of it at one time, but I want you to notice where those points are in you, because if you start working on that, you'll probably find that you feel a lot better. So the first exercise is our skiers. Now, you can see shoulder mobility, hip hinge, arch, and knees. Can you see that's all the same things that we're concentrating on? And suddenly this becomes a really tough exercise when you're trying to control everything. Good. And now we're going to do the sideways with the arms. So again, we're still hinged forward, right? Chest is up. And the knees aren't collapsing inwards when you bend. So, and the arch is still controlled. So whilst our shoulders aren't overhead, we're still doing the rest of it. Good. And then we're going to do the shot putters. So push, push, push. So a hip hinge again. Our shoulders are starting to get to that mid-level. Our knees. See, we're turning our whole body in and out, but our knees aren't coming in like that, which would make them pretty, that would feel not good. You got to twist your body. Good. All right, let's just do a few kind of stretches and movements to warm down. So you did well today. So they're the things to practice. This will be a really good routine to watch again and again, just to get your those corrective patterns in your body. If you do have problems with those movements, yeah, just keep chipping away, because when you come to the bigger exercises, you'll be glad, like you've really shored up some weaknesses. All right, just open up the hips again. All right, and just sort of twist and deep breath in. So just reflect on how you did today. There might have just been one thing that you were focusing on, or everything. So just just chip away at those little areas. So there you have it. A little workout for you to shore up your weaknesses, your sticking points.